So Fallout has gone out swinging with its season finale as it sort of leaves us with some questions answered, more unanswered, and a great big sweeping shot of a fan favorite locale that had all Fallout fans shouting for joy when they saw that closing shot before the credits rolled, which I'm going to spoil here in a minute. But before we do that, this is your warning that if you don't want things spoiled, pause it, go away, watch the episode, come back, and we'll talk about it in full. This is the last episode of the show. We are currently playing Fallout 4 to celebrate the Fallout show, also a little bit of Fallout 76, and talking all things Fallout here on the channel. So if you want more of the same, just like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, check out the multi-streams between here and Twitch, check out the Discord, the Patreon. You'll find more of what you love. So if you had your spoiler warning, we're going to get into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The big reveal here that I think we all knew was coming was the confirmation that indeed Vault-Tec did have cryogenic technology, and people like Betty, who is now an old woman, was definitely there 200 years ago. Hank, who is Lucy's father, was definitely there 200 years ago. Vault-Tec absolutely planned everything out from the beginning, and the ghoul, Cooper, has been searching for his wife and daughter since that time. Now, we don't know exactly what the falling out was with him and his wife to have led to him not knowing where his wife and daughter are, but he, in the past, as we got back in the flashback sequences here, he did end up eavesdropping and heard his wife be the one in the board meeting to suggest that they should be the ones, Vault-Tec, to drop the nukes on everybody. And in attendance were heads of companies like Robco and so on and so forth, basically sitting there, the billionaire leaders of the world, being told that they can buy their own vaults, run experiments as they want to create their own versions of utopia and their own little science experiments. And the best way to control everything is to set off the nukes that are going to wipe everybody off the face of the planet and only leave the people left on the inside of the vaults to survive, and they will control everything. That's the nefarious plan. What goes beyond the nefarious, though, is realizing that Hank, who is Lucy's dad, is a very, very bad person, which we sort of began to suspect as we got deeper into the show, but we really got confirmation in this episode because Lucy meets up with her ghoul mother, who has been left to just live out chained up to this table, I guess, and she meets Moldover, who turns out to be someone, who has lived through that process. Somehow or another. We haven't got confirmation of how exactly she survived 200 years, but we can assume she somehow got her hands on a cryogenic tube. But we do get, poor Norm back there in the vault, coming across the cryogenic tubes and then getting locked in and realizing he's going to have to put himself into his dad's tube if he wants to survive. It's just the tip of the iceberg, because as we come to the end of this show, we realize that the backstory of what happened to Shady Sands, which is where Max is from, that was nuked 20-some years ago, right? And he survived. And it turns out the person who nuked Shady Sands was none other than Hank, Lucy's dad. 25 years ago, or however long it was, when Lucy's mom escaped the vault and took her 2 children with her, and Hank went on the warpath to get his 2 children and basically nuked the entire town of Shady Sands to eradicate everything and everyone that his wife was trying to get to, and basically left his wife there and brought the kids back and has lied his whole life to Lucy and Norm. And in the end of this is basically the Brotherhood descending upon this place. The chip that was here and the guy's head turns out to be cold fusion. Moldover dies at the very end, and as there is a Brotherhood of Steel assault on the place, and she asks Max the question of, what do you think the Brotherhood of Steel is going to do with unlimited power? And then she sort of fades off into black, and you're left with, what is the answer to that question? I don't know. And as this is all going down, Lucy's dad wants her to let him out of the cage that Moldover had him in. Now she doesn't want to. She's like, no, you're not the person I thought you were. You're the one who did Shady Sands. It's your fault for everything. In the midst of all of this, Max comes in, shoots the bolt on the cage. He gets out, and he gets into this suit of power armor and basically knocks Max out and tells Lucy, come with me. I'm your dad. You're not going to hurt me. And then here comes the ghoul. And he's like, well, Hank, because he's known him since the beginning. He's like, I thought that name sounded familiar, and I've been looking for you for 200 years. Where's my fucking family, you know? And Hank just turns around and yeets off the edge of the building with jetpacks, leading the ghoul to tell Lucy that I let him go because now we can track him and he's going to lead us to his bosses, the people who are behind everything. You want your answers? I want my answers. That's where we're going to find our answers. So we got to follow him. And the great big reveal here for everybody who is fans of the franchise is as Hank is walking through the wasteland in this suit of armor and he's sunburnt and he's traveling somewhere, we get the pan shot coming up over his back and we see all of New Vegas laid out in front of us. So I'd say it's a safe bet that we're going to get a season 2 of Fallout, which is going to be set in what is arguably everybody's favorite. Well, I don't want to say everybody. It is definitely a fan favorite, the Fallout New Vegas. As much as I've heard people talk about how Fallout 4 is like this amazing game, and a lot of what came from this particular show was around Fallout 4. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. And if you can even look at the numbers as I'm playing Fallout 76 and Fallout 4. I get like double, sometimes triple the numbers on Fallout 4 versus Fallout 76 because it is such a beloved game. But as much comments as I get from people about how amazing Fallout 4 is because of the outposts and everything else, people always say that New Vegas is the best Fallout there's ever been since the original, and that's Obsidian. Excuse me, and it was the one they did right before Fallout 4. So it's going to be interesting to see that being the focal point for the second season. It also means I've got plenty of time to not only go through Fallout 4, but also New Vegas, which I've never played before. And so probably what I'll do is, we might wait until we get closer to the show, but I think going through Fallout New Vegas is a pretty much a secured bet at this point. We'll probably do that whenever we get to the rumblings of the second season of the Fallout show. But overall, I was very impressed with this first show. I'm not intimately familiar with the lore, but there was enough of familiarity here that I was able to keep up to speed with things. Now that the whole show is done, as soon as we get past our crisis with Pippin, Chris is going to watch the whole episode, the whole season with me, and we're probably just going to binge it. I did them on my own right now because I wanted to get the reviews out while everything was still hot, but now I can go watch it with her, and what I will do after we're done is I will have a follow-up. We'll have other follow-up discussions, but I'll have a follow-up review on the full show where I do what I was doing with Rings of Power, which is, this is what I thought about it as a fan, and this is what Chris thought about it as someone who didn't know anything about the franchise, and we'll look at the similarities and differences between those two viewpoints and kind of discuss the show in large to find out what we thought. But overall, very, very pleased. If I had to give this a rating out of the box, it would be a 10 out of 10. I have zero complaints about this. I would love to see more shows like this, adaptations that aren't afraid to play a little fast and loose with the lore, but also have the approval of the IP and creators. Bethesda at this point being the creators and holders of that IP for a very long time, but also respectfully paying attention to the lore that was established with the first two games. It's been very cool to see this come along and into fruition, and I can't wait to see more. I really hope that they're going to invest more into more Fallout in the future, whether that be, speeding up development of the next Fallout game, or, not only confirming season 2, but maybe a spin-off show with the Ghoul, because Walton Goggins would be awesome in that. I don't know. Sky's the limit at this point. Love to hear your thoughts on the season finale, everybody, and stick around for the final review that I'll be doing and some other discussion points around the show as we wind down our watch through and continue our playthrough of Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Thanks, everybody. See you in the next one. Cheers.